Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Erin OnD-mand, where I, Erin, will be sharing some experiences with you as an Illinois notary and signing agent. Welcome. If you are new, I take no credit and I give God all the glory for the information that I'm about to share with you today. Let's get started. Before we get started, let me just say my last live Q&A. If you watched the Q&A, you will probably notice I was a little bit off and kind of in a daze and just stutter, and let me tell you what was going on. So during the Q&A, we had a lot of trolls. There were a lot of trolls. To me, one is one too many. And I believe there were about 4. But what gets me is that I did not know at first. I didn't know that, well, of course I knew, a live is a live, and I can go in, a person's live at any time and see what they're talking about. But I didn't I don't know why I didn't think that anyone who's not a notary would want to come on our live, because I didn't truly know that they were trolls when they first came in the chat. So I said hi, and you know how I say hi to everyone. I'm like, oh, hi LaToya, or hi Janine. So when the trolls come in, their names may not be regular names, but then I think, okay, that's nothing new, because a person may have a long, unique, weird name anyway. So I didn't think anything of it. So when I said hi to like 3 of them. And so I say your first and last name. And a lot of times names, when you put the first and last name together, it could say one thing that's, derogatory or something like that. But I didn't know, first off, looking at the name. So I said hi to one. I was so excited. I'm like, hi, Sizzling. And I won't say the other name. And in my mind, I'm thinking, that's a weird name, but I just didn't think anything of it after that. And then as I'm reading, like I'm trying to talk, you guys, I'm trying to formulate words, and I'm looking at the chat at the same time. And I'm like, okay, this is live, so I'm not going to say anything about what's going over there. And I'm thinking, and I hope the moderator gets that quick, because I do have a moderator. And then my moderator has a moderator. So she was like trying to email the link that I was telling all of you to go to in the chat, but then Google moderator kept taking that out. And then at the same time, I'm looking at the chat and I'm seeing like words and things that are not supposed to be said. Anyway, so that's just to give you a little bit of what was going on. Like at the same time that I'm live, I am having a very weird experience. So at the end of the chat, I got a call immediately from my moderator, and she's like, Erin, there are so many trolls. Ah! So, but now I know that's what they do. We will be on the lookout, her and I together. So if you want to go back and look at that, you can. You can also see, I did not delete any of that. When it comes to lives, I think I edited one thing, but when it comes to lives, I do not like to be on the live for a whole hour and then wait to edit that live just to post it. I don't do that. So the lives, 99% of the time will be non-edited. I don't like to do that, because I'm spending it takes a lot to edit. And it's not how I like to edit. It's not within my platform of editing. It's in the YouTube studios, which I don't too much prefer that. So I just don't edit at all. If there's a mistake, if my snickerdoodles are coming up and they're like, mommy, whatever, I don't edit any of that. If I have to walk away, I don't edit, because I just don't like the platform of their editing. And it just takes too much time that I've already taken during the live. So that was something. So anyway, let's go into the video. Let's talk about that thumbnail. Yes, today I will be confessing what I do, some things that I do that you probably don't know I do as a notary, specifically a signing agent. Let's get started. So first confession is I do not make copies for my clients. When it comes to a closing, specifically loan modifications, I do not make copies for my clients, rarely, seldom. Now, the reason why this is because most of the times the lenders that I work with, they will send the clients their copies, and so they have them already, and I print off 2 copies. Now, when it comes to loan mods, I could possibly be printing out 16 pages. So for 2, that's 32 pages. And the reason why I go with 2 copies anyway is because my title company prefers 2 wet signature copies. So I don't go with a 3rd copy for them. Most of the time, the lenders that I'm working with do FedEx their clients their packets. Seldom they won't, but most of the times they do. And that is why regarding loan modifications, I do not print documents. There are also times when it comes to a refi, if I know that the that the client is not really interested in having a copy, they don't want the paperwork, I will not print 2 copies. Next confession. There are times that I take my children with me. Yes. Now, this is with, now all depending on where the signing is. If it's inside, outside, there are so many things that fall into this that I just can't name right off the tip of my head. So there's so many things that can, add to this. Most of the times with loan mods, all depending on what time of day it is, what it is, where it is, I will take my children with me. And if I do, 90% of the time I'm doing it outside, and it takes about 2 to 3 minutes to sign. Next confession. Okay, so I'm going to read this from here. Not only has a client not been there on our day and time to close, but I have also gone to clients' houses on the wrong dates. It's a confession. I have. And let me give you a scenario of how or why and how this happened. With the title company that I have, we have a portal. I appreciate that and I love it so much. It is where the title company has set that up for us signing agents, but then the lender and the title company also sees the notes that we put in. I remember talking to you about this earlier in the year with the first video that I made in 2021 about me never showing ID again. So in that video, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. I will link it up and I'll also put it down in the description box below so you can also get your ID. That link will also be in the description box below if you haven't already. But there's a portal, and a lot of the times when schedulers call me for appointments, they will sometimes per the client, there will be several days and times to choose from. I will always choose the later day and time and then go ahead and have them send that over, because to me that covers me. If I have something going on and I don't want to meet that first date, I have more, right? So in order for me to really take advantage of that, I don't want to set the day and time for the first one, because if something were to come up and I go with the second one, it's already in the portal that I've already accepted this day and time. So I would go with the latter. So that's one thing, keep that in mind. So if I go with the latter, I'm gonna see that day and time posted. But then at the bottom, there will be notes highlighted in yellow. These are the 3 day and times preferred by the client. So this is how this happened. And this is how it will normally happen. I will call to confirm. When I do, we will set up a day and time, preferably before the latter and then schedule for that day. So when I'm going through the portal again, I'm making sure I have all of my clients and all of the packets printed out according to the days and times. Sometimes if I don't go according to my phone, I go according to the portal. And in my phone could be one thing, what I've actually put them in there, but in the portal, I'm seeing something different. It's not that it's not accurate, it's just not what we've set up. So there was a time where I set up an earlier date, you know, per client's, per their preference, but I missed that date and I went according to the date. I went according to the date on the portal. And then I'm like, oh my goodness. So I will call and now sometimes the clients won't call me because they know there are several dates. They won't call me to say that I missed. Confessions, okay? So I'll forget and then I'll show up the next day and I'll just call and say, oh, hi, this is Erin. I'm just calling to confirm our closing for today. And she'll say, oh, I thought you were coming yesterday. And I said, and I'll look at my phone, really? Oh my goodness, I forgot. I do apologize. And then it'll 100% of the time it's okay because they've already set that time, you know, and even if they don't, even if they know I'm coming earlier, it's still okay. I've changed appointments several times according to the clients, and it's okay because if they have those dates in there, that's when they're off or that's when they're home, so it's okay. Confessions, okay. If you have anything, leave it in the comment section below. I will respond. So yes, that has happened. Also, I went to a closing, and the client wasn't there. She wasn't there, and now if they are not there on the day they're supposed to be there, I'm giving grace because I do the same thing. So however, if I've already made a travel there, I won't cancel. I'm just not going to cancel on them. This is an important transaction that I'm still going to help bring to close. I just will not make another trip out, and I'll have them come to me because to me, my payment is for the trip out, the printing of the documents, the helping it come to close, you know, and shipping them off and so forth. In my mind, I don't get paid to go out there twice. So of course I don't cancel it on them. I just will have them come out to me because it happens. It happened to me. So it's going to happen to them, and it's going to happen to you. It's going to happen. If anyone has it all together, let me know who they are because it's not me. Okay. Next confession. Regarding loan modifications only, I will close after the deadline. There are times where I have closed after the deadline. You already know when it comes to any type of investments, refinances, new purchase, a second home, you cannot close after the date of the packet. You can't. That is looked at or can be looked at as mortgage fraud or helping someone commit mortgage fraud. Not saying that you would be. It's just saying, you know, you're not supposed to do that. So, but regarding loan modifications, like I talked to you previously, loan modifications do not have a date on the document. It is up to the client and it's up to the notary to schedule a date. Now, there is a deadline date that I am given and that you probably are given with the agency or title company. So with my title company, I am given a deadline date. But again, remember, the lender can also see my notes and so forth. So if a client is out of town, I can call the title company and they can just go ahead and extend that deadline, or I will put notes that I'm unable to get in contact with them or something came up, because life does happen to all of us. The lender will call me. Our deadline is not till this time. Not deadline, but well, yeah, the deadline is not until weeks after. So there are times where if a client cannot make it, now I was very strict when first starting out because I really didn't know a lot with this title company and deadlines and so forth. But now if the client does have to reschedule, if something of an emergency does come up, I will either call the title company or I won't. I'll just go ahead and we'll close after the deadline and I'll put the date on there and it's okay. So that is what I do. In regards to loan modifications only, I will close after a deadline has already been set. Next confession. I do not record all signings in my journal. I believe it is best practice for notaries to do that. I believe it's best practice for notaries to have a record of all their signings. I'll just say that. Again, if you do not know, if you have not been over the law of Illinois, it is not required that a notary record notarial acts. The reason why I do not record every signing in my journal is because my title company already has it on file. If I know that it is a general signing, or if it is a signing to where either it's an investment and the property is out of state and they're here, I will take their information down, all depending, certain cues. I will take their information down, including all of their license information, including the all of their information. But other than that, I have a sheet, I have a ledger, hundreds of closings. I have a ledger of each and every person and address that I have signed, that I have notarized. So I have all that printed out. That is the only reason why I do not copy I do not keep a record of every single closing that I do. Next confession. And this is the last confession. Okay. Now, earlier this year, if you saw the live webinar, one of the strategies or one of the best practices I believe, and other people also do go by, is only signing up and doing business with one title company at a time. Multiple agencies, but one title company at a time. It just helps out the loyalty of you and the title company. It just makes for a very good relationship when you are available every time they call, or multiple times when they call, and you don't have to say no to this title company just to do work with the other title company and losing business. So I signed up with the second title company. Let me tell you why. Why? Because at the beginning of every single video, I always say my experiences as an Illinois notary. Let's get started. The reason why I sign up with another title company is to have an experience to bring to you. My experience was, number one, the closing was fine, but I don't like payment. I don't like how you get payment. I don't like that I have to send an invoice every single time I do a closing. That's too much going on. I'm not going to do that. That's something that I don't prefer, because that's just something I don't prefer. Number two, I didn't like how in the beginning they send me this paperwork and it tells me the price of everything. Yet after the closing, they're saying, oh, it's $100 less than what I asked for. Never again. And I still haven't sent my invoice. And I know that's money I still have to get, and they'll pay. I just haven't sent the invoice. I will. But I'm so glad I did that, because I'm realizing more, and I want you also to realize there's gonna come a time where you are gonna choose and not want to do business with everything that comes your way. Being signed up with a title company is such a blessing. It's great. I think it's one of the best things that can happen to a notary, but not everything is for you. It's just because it's flowing income and flowing money and more money than agencies doesn't mean that I'm going to take it. And I can tell you, working for the government, I can tell you I've been known by several agencies as the girl that turns down jobs. If it wasn't, if the money was high, but it didn't work around my schedule or the schedule of my family, or if I found out something in the interview that I didn't know or that you tried to hide or didn't put in the posting, after getting the job, I'm gonna decline it, because it's not all about the money. It's not all about the money. It's about what I prefer, what I asked for, what I want. And if you can't deliver, I'm not gonna work with you. I'm not gonna do business with you. I'm gonna turn down the job. So I'm so glad that I realized, and I want you also to realize there's gonna come a time where you are not gonna wanna do, you yourself are gonna say, hey, I am my own, and I don't do business with you. There was a lawyer last year, I was talking to my associate, there is a lawyer, a law firm I will never do business with. I don't wanna do business with you if you are trying to, if you're not upfront with certain things, I like effective communication. And if you're not going to effectively communicate with me, and then you want to pay by whatever, something that we did not agree on, I'm no longer going to do business with you. That's the bottom line. So I am no longer doing business with that title company. I'm not. I ignore emails. I haven't put in a resignation or anything like that. I did one closing and I won't. And then I think of everything that I'm getting with the title company that I'm with. I love the fact that, and agencies have portals too. I love the fact that there's ways of communication. Someone always picks up the phone. I like the form of payment. I just like a certain things, how you go apartment hunting or house hunting and you want this and this and this and this out of that one home. Well, I have the same list for the title companies that I'm with. And this title company didn't meet that. So I'm no longer with them. And I'm glad I have that experience to share with you. So I hope all of this helped very much so. And if you have any questions about anything that I've said, I also still never print legal. I still don't. Something I also carry, not in my bag because it's way too big, but I do carry a shredder. It is a great, great, great investment because I just had 2 closings this week that I printed out docs for and they were canceled. Thank God there were only loan modifications, so the documents were very, very tiny, a tiny stack. But I did get a shredder because to me it's so important. I don't want like people's information hanging out in my house, and I didn't want, I don't want to cut it up. I'm not gonna burn anything. And I didn't want to put it in the trash, of course not. So I did invest in a shredder a few months back so that I can just make sure, and it's not just the one that, shreds like that. It cross shreds into tiny, tiny squares. And so you can never put it back together. So I'm very happy that I did go with that. I will put the exact one that I got in the description box below, so you can have that. I hope this helps again, and until my next video, Erin On Demand. Bye.